Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Study with Soumya. Make sure to subscribe this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Do like this video, do share this video with your friends also so that we can reach out to more and more students. Right, share this video with your seniors, juniors as well so that it can be helpful for them, right? So the continuation of this data structure series totally depends on you, on your efforts and on your interest, right? So keep watching the videos, keep supporting us, keep motivating, right? And also do join us at our Telegram channel. The Telegram channel link is provided in the description itself, so you can join us from there, right? So in this video, in the previous video, I discussed about the analysis of an algorithm, that how you can determine the performance of an algorithm. So if you haven't watched this video, then just watch the previous video and then come to this video, right? Next, in this video we will cover that about asymptotic analysis. So asymptotic analysis is a very important part of a data structure, right? To determine the performance and efficiency of your algorithm. Make sure to watch the complete video. I'm sure that the explanation in this video will help you to clear about each and everything regarding asymptotic analysis. So let's get started. So first of all, the question is that what is asymptotic analysis? Asymptotic analysis of an algorithm determines the mathematical bounds of its runtime performance, right? So as if we covered that how you can determine the efficiency, the performance of your algorithm, right? So in the same way, in the same sequence, that asymptotic analysis of an algorithm help us to determine the runtime performance of our algorithm. Now using asymptotic analysis, what we can cover? We can cover the best case, average case and worst case of our algorithm. So whatever algorithm that we have proposed or you have proposed, so we can determine that what is the best case for this one, average case for this one and worst case. So guys, if you are not able to understand these terms, so I have already covered this in the previous video, so that's why make sure to watch it. Now the time required by an algorithm classified in three types, that is best case, average case, worst case. Best case means when it will execute in less amount of time, when it will execute in average amount of time, and when the execution is going to take very much time. So execution time basically depends on the input provided, right? Execution time depends on the input provided. So let's move further. Now, what do you mean by asymptotic? So for this asymptotic analysis, we have certain notations that we are going to cover in this video. First of all, you should be aware of this term, that what do you mean by asymptotic? Asymptotic means determining some kind of limit or approaching to a particular value. This is what we mean by asymptotic. Now, why you should learn asymptotic notation? If you are learning anything, then there is a particular motive behind it, right? So you can see there are two factors which make it compulsory to study asymptotic notation. The first one is determine algorithm's efficiency. So always when you are solving a problem, there are multiple solutions, but we have to choose optimal one. Which is efficient. So asymptotic notation will help us to determine the algorithm's efficiency, and also whatever solutions you have proposed, we can compare the performance of the algorithms, that which one is doing great. Okay, so let's start with the first asymptotic notation, that is BIGO notation. Generally, students get confused about these notations, so that's why I have decided to present in such a manner, in a visualizing manner, so that you can get a clear understanding of BIGO notation. So let's plot a graph, right? So recently I mentioned that the execution time depends on the number of input. So let's suppose here this n is the number of input and t is the time. So here is our function fn. Suppose we have a function fn. Now we are plotting it, that how it is varying according to time. So let's suppose it is varying something like this according to time. Now we have this. So this is our function fn and this is how it is varying according to the time. Now we have another function here, this one. So let's suppose this is c dot or c into g of n, right? So what is the case with this function? What this function is denoting, that our function fn cannot go above this bound. This is what upper bound for our function. Whenever studying about big O notation, the one thing that you have to keep in your mind is that upper bound, right? Upper bound and worst case. So these two words should be in your mind whenever reading about big O notation, right? So this function is denoting that our function f of n cannot move beyond this limit. So this is showing a kind of limit that it is the upper bound, and this function f of n cannot move above this upper bound. When? So there is some condition for this. So after this n naught value, so after this n naught value, after this n naught instance, our function f of n cannot move above this upper bound, that is c into g of n, right? So that is the case. Now the scenario, how we can represent this scenario? So it can be written as, see, f of n is going to be either less than or equal to c into g of n, and for this the n is what, our input, so n should be greater than equal to n naught. C you can consider a kind of constant, right? A kind of constant. C should be greater than 0 and n naught also should be greater than equal to 1. So that is the case. If this is the scenario, if this is the condition satisfied, so in simple terms or in abstract manner, it can be written as f of n equal to big O of g of n. So what this statement means, that this our f of n function cannot move beyond this g of n, right? So that is the case. Let me make it more simple for you. Suppose you went to a party and some people were there. You went to a party and some n people were there, right? And one of those people is stolen your bracelet. Okay, now the police came, you reported to police came, and now you have to check each and every person's face to determine who was the thief. So what can be the worst case in that case? You will start from first person and you will go up to n person, right? Because thief is going to be one of them, right? So what is the upper bound of this case? N people is the upper bound, right? So in the party, if n people are there, so you can check only from these n people, right? No one outsider is going to come. So the upper bound here for this particular problem is n. Or you can compare this situation from the linear search. This is what I am telling you in an exemplified manner. Okay. So now I hope you understood that what is actually big O notation. Make sure to consider these words when studying about big O notation. Worst case and upper bound. So whenever studying about big O notation, so big O notation generally determine the worst case for the given function. Next notation that we do have is omega notation. Right, so as if I mentioned in the case of big O, you have to consider worst case and upper bound. Here you have to consider best case and lower bound. Best case and lower bound. So this is the input and this is the time. So let's suppose we have a function like this, f of n, right? And we have another function like this, c into g of n, right? So what this scenario is showing, that our function f of n cannot move below this bound. So this function is the lower bound for the function f of n. That minimum it can go up to this value and it cannot move below this value. But for which instance? So after a particular value or threshold, that is n naught. So after n naught, our function cannot go below this value, that is below this function which is we are showing by c into g of n, right? Now this scenario that I visually represented, it can be written as that f of n greater than equal to c into g of n, right? Because f of n for sure here in this case is going to be greater than or equal to c into g of n, where n should be greater than equal to n naught, that is this particular threshold. C should be greater than 0 and n should be greater than equal to 1. Now in simple terms or in abstract method, we can write this thing in like this. So f of n equal to omega, big omega g of n, right? So here also let's take the party wala example. So these are few people. There are and people in a party, right? And one of those people is stolen your bracelet. Now police came, and now you have to identify the thief by seeing their faces, by seeing the faces of each and every person present in the party, because thief was one of the member of party itself. So what can be the best case here? That the first person to whom you saw, that when you started searching, the first person was the thief itself. The first person itself was the thief. So this is the best case. Now there is no need to go further and search for the thief, because the initial person that you saw is the thief. Now what is the lower bound? What is the lower bound here in this case? That you cannot move below this person, right? Because you are from starting there. So at least one person should be thief, right? So you are starting from this person. So this scenario is representing the omega notation, right? I hope you understood that what is omega notation now. Okay, generally students try to memorize the thing, but if you are trying to understanding the thing, then they will remain in your mind lifetime. So that's why try to understand instead of memorizing. Next notation we have is theta notation. So let's understand the graph first, and then we will talk about the theta notation. So this notation covers both lower and upper bound. Both lower and upper bound. In the term you can associate with that is, this is generally represent average case. What it represents? Average case, right? So suppose this is our function f of n. This is our function f of n. This is another function c2 into g of n. c1 into g of n, right? So what is the upper and lower bound for this function? That our function f of n cannot go beyond this limit. So this is the upper bound, c2 into g of n. This is the upper bound for f of n. And what is the lower bound? So c1 into g of n is the lower bound after a particular instance, so that is n naught, right? So after this threshold value, f of n cannot move below this particular value, that is c1 into g of n, and cannot go above this particular value, that is c2 into g of n, right? So theta notation covers both lower and upper bound. With the example, let me tell you, suppose you are attending a paper of 100 marks. So whatever your marks is going to be, it is going to be between 0 to 100 only, right? It is going to be between 0 to 100 only. For sure, you are not going to get 101 or -1. These cases are not possible. So whatever your marks are going to be will be in this range only. So this is a kind of example of theta notation. So it basically determines a range of lower bound and upper bound for the given function. So it can be represented, this scenario can be represented as that c1 into g of n less than equal to f of n less than equal to c2 into g of n for all where n should be greater than equal to n0. c1, c2 should be greater than, okay, here this c, let's consider this in small. Yeah, c1, c2 should be greater than 0 and n0 should be greater than equal to 1. Now in an abstract manner, it can be represented as f of n equal to theta g of n, right? So that is the case. So it generally covers the average case. But always remember that when we are analyzing an algorithm, we generally take care of, or we generally consider worst case, right? So that's why we generally do represent the time complexity using big O only, right? So that's why whenever analyzing an algorithm, we consider worst case, that in worst case what can be the situation and how our algorithm is going to work. So I hope you now every kind of notation, asymptotic analysis, asymptotic notation, everything is clear to you. And if it is clear, so make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe the channel, give your feedback in the comment section. In case of any doubt, do comment. Thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.